How's it going, guys? Today's video, we're talking about starting that routine. As I talked about in my last video, motivation can be a huge limiting factor when it comes to our daily lives. So I figured today, why not talk about getting some of those things into play to help us get along, such as starting a routine. So how do we go about getting a routine established? Well, easiest thing to do is just take it one day at a time. Start with those plans that I was talking about. You can have long-term plans, you can have short-term plans, but just get plans established. Goals in mind that you would like to accomplish throughout your day, throughout your week, throughout your month, throughout your year. Doesn't matter how long or how far off they are, just plan them. That's all you need to do to start getting this going, is just grab a piece of paper, grab your phone, and start writing some stuff down that you would like to accomplish. This is just the starting step to get into a routine. Once we have a plan in place, we have built the foundation to our routine. Having a plan and establishing those small goals or those long-term goals gives us something to build off of every day. Once we've done that, that routine soon follows. So what kind of things should we consider for our planning phase? Well, they can either be individual or family oriented. Each has their pros and cons, and once our plan becomes a routine, it's the same case. So let's talk about that. Starting an individual plan is great for each of us. It allows us to cater to our own needs, our own wants, and our own desires. And it helps you establish plans easier. Now, they can be lofty goals. They don't have to necessarily be that way, but they can be. They can also be small goals, such as brushing your teeth, walking your dog, calling a family member, calling a friend, or doing some yard work that day. It really all depends on your personal style and what you're trying to accomplish. Now let's talk about some of the cons that are involved with individual plans. Mainly exclusion of family members. A lot of these things are based solely on you and not including a lot of family members within them. So it's finding that time, finding that balance when we're doing these individual plans that are going to turn into a routine, and to make them successful, we have to figure out that balance within our lives. Now, don't get me wrong, having individual time for ourselves is awesome. I absolutely love it. Sometimes I might take a little advantage of it. But overall, everyone needs time to themselves. And this is a great place to start with your planning and routine, isn't focusing on yourself. Now, another option that you guys can do out there is family planning. Include your family members, include them into the process, and that'll help this become a routine. One of the major benefits of doing this is accountability. If family members are involved together, most likely those tasks are going to get done and they don't have the ability to fall to the wayside. Having family members involved all together, when one's lacking that motivation, the other ones can help them get going and get into it and keep to their routine. Now, another great thing about this is the bonding aspect of it. Having family plans that turn into family routines becomes a bonding exercise, more or less. For me personally, what my family likes to do as a group, and you can consider it a routine, Fridays or Saturday nights we typically get together and play cards. Again, doesn't have to be anything huge or big, but it's something that routinely happens, that we get together, we bond, we spend time with each other, and we enjoy each other's company. Now, this can be changed into so many different things. As far as routine, it can be walking your pets. Doing something similar to this obviously allows your family to bond. You're bringing your animals on a walk, you're getting everybody together, you guys are getting a light exercise in, and you also have time to communicate and talk with each other, which is amazing. It's always something that we should all strive for. It's just that bonding time. But see, again, it's a very simple thing that becomes a routine. It doesn't, again, have to be very complicated. Now, the way I look at it, the best approach to doing a plan for an individual or family, or just trying to establish that routine for an individual, is to have both of these attributes in there. Have an individual plan, but also a family plan. When these are enacted together, they typically have a little bit of juggling. Once this is accomplished, you have established one solid routine for yourself. Now, this allows you to have your alone time. This allows you to have your family time. This allows you to do so many different things and to feel very successful at the end of the day. Now, talking about feelings that come from a routine, let's talk about some of the benefits that come with a routine. One of the big ones I could say for me is structure. Having structure. I think this goes without saying for a lot of us. Structure is something we thrive on. It is something that we have been brought up in with the military, and it's how we structure, or it's how we were presented with our days. It was structure from beginning to end, and that prioritized our time completely up throughout the day so that no time was wasted. Having that structure in the civilian side is something I strive for a lot. Without it, I'm pretty lost. It becomes quite a struggle to get through my days. If I don't have that structure, a lot of time is spent wasted, not getting anything done, not being productive, not spending time with my family, just lost in the wind. Speaking of being productive, that is another great benefit to having a routine, is productivity. Having some structure that has established different activities throughout the day or different tasks allows us to get things done in a very proactive way. It allows us to be efficient, and it allows us to be very effective with how we're time managing everything. Another great part to it is the feeling that you get afterwards, just the mood. Typically, struggling throughout the day, I am very depressed, I'm very sad, I'm not very optimistic for anything. But when I have structure, I have a plan, I have a routine in place, and I'm making those actions to accomplish that routine or those tasks in that plan, I feel good. I feel a lot happier. I feel very accomplished with what I've done. Now, that can be very intrinsic, but it can also be extrinsic. Say you're out in the shop, you're building something, you get finished, voila, you have a table. That makes me feel great. Another way this could be approached is doing something with the family. And when you're done, you're giving your children a high five, you're giving your wife a hug, and you're all looking at what you've accomplished. And that gives you a very upbeat, accomplished feeling of happiness, optimism, and accomplishment. Another great part about establishing a routine is that you get improvements. Now, these improvements can be within your whole self. They can be spiritual, mental, or physical. Doesn't matter. Within those three things, if you are finding improvement, you are finding a better version of yourself within you. Now, a great example of that was when I started trying to build a routine at the beginning of 2020. I didn't make a New Year's resolution. I didn't do anything of that nature. I actually despise those, by the way. I feel establishing a routine is going to be more concrete, and it's going to be something that you can hold longer into the future, where a resolution typically lasts about 2 weeks and then it falls off to the side. But for me, starting that routine at the beginning of the year, I made a plan. I'm gonna go to the gym 3 times a week. Started doing that. Once I established that plan and that was working, I found a workout regimen that worked for me, and that became a routine. There was 3 days on of the week, 4 days off. Now, that became a very solid routine for me, and it provided me a lot of improvements physically. I felt better, I was healthier, I was losing weight, I was gaining muscle mass. And on top of that, it was helping me mentally. I was feeling very good, releasing all those endorphins in the morning. Now, I mentioned spiritual improvement before. I'm not one to harp on the whole faith and all that thing. I'll leave that for you guys. I'll keep my hands off of that. But there's different ways to spiritually gain improvement, and that can just be, for me, I do meditation. Just taking time to yourself, just getting that self-awareness helps out tremendously with your mood throughout the day. Now, it's something that you guys can look into. I highly recommend it. But overall, I'm gonna leave it up to you guys. If you wanna do the Sundays, by all means, do the Sundays. I'll leave it at that. As for this video though, I think this is gonna be it. Like I said before, please like and subscribe to my channel. If you have any comments, any tips or tricks that you have, please leave those down in the comments below. I appreciate everything you guys do. And for now, peace.